The High V Cup competition for the elite collegiate athletes. This is the men's 4x8. There you see the record, 7:14.89, thrown down by Nebraska and some of the best, Lewis Johnson here with Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa State, Arkansas, the likes of Washington, Marquette, Air Force, Missouri, and Illinois State, all within this field.
Yeah, Todd, all these guys just got some bad news from the starters a moment ago. Gentlemen, take off your sweats because it is chilly out here. But again, you know, if you're a middle distance runner, you're used to these types of conditions. As they take the gun, and again, popping it off the relay is a great responsibility. And again, these guys want to get a great start for their team, working the cones until they get to the backstretch.
Early congestion on the inside for those 8 schools running there, and there the cones in, and everyone makes to the inside lane.
And I've always thought it was smart, Todd, to not run just to the inside rail and maybe hang to the outside a little bit. Sure, you're going to run a little bit to over distance, but just on the middle or the outside of lane 1 keeps you from getting boxed in on the rail, which means that you're against the rail and everyone else is around you and you can't get out. That's one of the worst positions to be as a middle distance runner.
Hometown fans are going to like this as Iowa comes around on the first turn. Remember, it's the 4x800, so almost 1 lap in on this one. Iowa leads the way as they come to the line for 1 more lap for this first group. It's Iowa out in front here, and remember, these are all points that are going towards the High V Cup. Everyone wanted to be a part of that and take home that prestigious honor.
It is such a great feeling to be in a lead as you take a race around the track like this. You know, you think about all the training you've done, the expectations of your team, and then something like this happens, and you give it up, and you say, well, I got to figure out a way to hang in here. Iowa on the right of your screen in the yellow, giving up a little bit of ground, but trying to hang in there as they battle down that backstretch with almost 200 meters to go before the exchange.
Being boxed in by Nebraska and Wyoming, but it is still Iowa out in front. Wyoming up there, and here's where the congestion's going to come in. Lewis, like we saw in the women's, everyone antsy, and this is probably the hardest pass it is, don't you think, just going from 1 to 2?
No question. I mean, as you see as they make the turn, and then everybody kind of explodes, they fan out up the home straightaway, and you can see runners everywhere, and everyone trying to make eye contact with the guy. Look, you see the hands going up. I'm right here. Give me the baton.
Washington.
This is where there was almost a problem on the outside. There were Washington, but they made the exchange.
Washington had the lead when they came to the exchange, but a poor exchange and traffic. And so now Washington drops back, and the cadets of Air Force out in front. Arkansas sits in second. Iowa's dropped to third. Nebraska and Wyoming rounding out your top 5. And Washington really suffered on that exchange. We'll see if they can make it up here in this second leg.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. They're trying to do that. And back at the home straightaway, up the home straightaway at the finish line, we've got a runner down who was caught up in congestion. You'll see that maybe as they run by again. But there he is, trying to get him up off the track. Fortunately, he is on the outside of the track, so it should not impede the runners that are coming up the home straightaway now, Todd.
So it is Air Force out in front with a very strong first lap here for their runner. Air Force looking very good. Now coming into the view, and they've really worked themselves into another pack. Washington's now dropping into 4th place. Air Force out in front.
And if you're in that second pack, the most important thing for you to do is to keep contact. You know, the game within the game of these relays is where do you place your strongest runners and where do you put your weaker guys? So you want to make sure that you've got somebody who's strong at the end. And as you see now, Air Force getting walked down in the backstretch. He had a great first leg, but now he's getting walked down and left.
Loyola of Illinois out in front now. Ohio State now getting into the fray. So the Buckeyes and Loyola of Illinois going 1 and 2, and now it's the Buckeyes making the pass.
Yeah, that was a great move, and you know, when the Buckeyes were going, the other guy said, let's go with him because he's got the momentum. And now it's about holding on. It's about arm pump. Your legs are only doing what your arms are doing, so pump the arms and try to get the legs up. Hold on to the baton tight, and don't let it go until the other guy takes it out of your hand.
This will be a very important exchange on to leg 3. No problem for the Buckeyes. They are out clean. Fresh legs, and the pace picks up, and amazing how things change, Lewis, just on 1/2 of a lap. Air Force was leading. Air Force has now dropped back to 8th place.
Yeah, they're not
Washington giving chase.
Yeah, and that's what happens. You know, again, I talked about that game within the game of where do you put your strong and weak runners, because at some point, you know, you're probably going to give up some ground, but then how do you try and make sure that you can get yourself back in the mix and then have a strong close? That's the chess match for all these coaches.
And they keep going back and forth. Illinois State, Ohio State, Nebraska, and Loyola, Illinois, your top 4 out in front.
My goodness, I'm having a flashback, man. I'm thinking about a relay that I was running once like this, and my coach would run from sideline to sideline, like from the 50-yard line and back. And at one point I was getting past, and he yelled at me, he says, "Lou, they're eating you alive! They're eating you alive!"
Just what you want to hear.
It's nothing worse than hearing that from your coach when you're trying to hang on for dear life.
The Cornhuskers of Nebraska out in front. Arkansas sits in second. Ohio State sits in third, your top three. And now another move coming as Arkansas tries to get on the outside. Ohio State's going to go with them.
Yeah, this is just great running down the backstretch. And when you get to this point, you know you've only got 200 meters to go. You're trying to keep your form. Keep pumping your arms out. You can see the runner in the lead is in trouble by the way his head is bobbing back and forth. And now the move on the outside.
And the move is coming, and a lot of pressure coming as well as the gold and black of Iowa comes into view. The Hawkeyes with a big dash.
Wow, look at that. You hear this crowd? Don't tell me they don't love this at the Drake Relays.
And the Hawkeyes will take the lead. 2 laps to go. And what a run by Will Tubal of Iowa. That was impressive. That was Lewis Johnson-esque over those last 200 meters.
That's not what my coach said that day when he was talking to me on the track, but it was a great move. Now, here's what he has to do is keep his head. You have excitement because you got the baton in the lead. It was a great move there at the end. You get that energy, but now you've got to make sure that you maintain the lead, but don't go crazy so that you don't get walked down this home track and end up on YouTube tonight.
This is a senior, Brennan Davey, out of Iowa. He's got about 3-meter lead on second place. And it is Iowa out in front. Remember, they had a lead on the first lap of this race, and here we go to the last lap.
I like
this will be the bell lap.
Yeah, and I like the confidence I see here, but he's got to be careful. In an 800-meter run, you've got to run that third 200 hard. Right here, you've got to begin to pick the tempo up just a little bit. Take the energy from this crowd. Look at the big board and see what the guy behind you is doing. And he's got to just try and make sure that he maintains and pushes because there's going to be a rush with about 200 meters to go. Here it comes.
And here comes Arkansas and Nebraska, both trying to make the move. Iowa, there's nothing left in the legs.
Yeah, Arkansas now committed on the right there to try and hold on to the lead, but now look at this move on the right. Look at the long strides of these guys. At some point here, you're going to have to chop that stride down. Here comes another move from the outside.
Arkansas and Nebraska, Loyola of Illinois, still in this fight. Now they sit in second place. And the big question is, can Arkansas hold them off?
Oh my goodness!
What a kick to the line!
Wow!
What a performance by Loyola of Illinois. It looked like they were all but out, and then it is Sam Penzenstadler who gets it done in the final 200 meters. He goes from 4th to 1st, and it's Loyola getting the win and the valuable points in the Hy-Vee Cup.
Well, Todd, you know, Iowa had that great move on the exchange. They had the lead running down the backstretch and were looking very strong. But then all of a sudden, everything changed. Right here, Iowa beginning to tighten up there in the yellow, getting walked down on the outside there by Arkansas. But here comes the other team. Look at the long galloping strides here. The problem for this young man on the outside was that he was never able to shorten the strides and go to a faster, quicker gait, because here comes Loyola. He's been laying in wait, letting all the other guys on the outside do all the work. He pulls up, beep, beep, I'm going by you. And then as he comes up the home straightaway, you think, well, he's probably out of it. But once again, Arkansas not able to go down to a quicker cadence, and Loyola just puts his head down, finds a way to dig deep into that well. Beep, beep goes by him, and now he's got his YouTube moment from the Drake Relays. That is some final leg.
And not that Lewis Johnson would know, but Lewis, that's got to be one of the worst feelings in the world. You feel like you've got it, and now this guy comes streaking by you.
The worst. You'll hear about that in the van ride or the plane ride all the way home. Maybe till next year.
So the final results in the men's 4x800 meter relay looks like this. It is Loyola of Illinois with a 7:25.12. Arkansas very strong in second, Nebraska in third, and the Hawkeyes of Iowa had a lead for 2 laps, couldn't hold on to it. They get in fourth, and Ohio State, the Buckeyes, rounding out your top 5.